Sup guys, Christos here. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 questions that I ask myself every single time before I make an investment into a business. These are questions that I ask alongside going through my typical fundamental analysis of a stock, and I feel like asking myself these questions, number one, helps me avoid missing any oversight of a company, and number two, and the most important one I would say, it really gives me the confidence to go ahead and start building that initial position. So let's not waste any more time. All I ask from you guys is that if you do enjoy these types of videos, then make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But having said that, let's jump into it. Okay, so the first question that I like to ask myself is, do I understand the business? So when it comes to investing, it literally doesn't matter at all what company that I'm investing into. If I don't understand that business, then I absolutely have zero right to even be thinking about investing into that company at that moment in time. I need to understand exactly what the business does. I need to understand what makes them stand out from their competitors. And of course, the most important, how does that business even make money? One quick thing that I really like to do is actually sit down and explain the business to a friend or family member, and if when I'm doing this at any point I feel hesitant about what I'm saying, then that just pretty much tells me that I simply don't know enough about this company to continue, and I need to go back to the drawing board and do some more research. Question number two, what is my goal of investing into this company? Now, of course, the obvious answer to this question is of course going to be I need to make money from it, but what I'm actually talking about here when it comes to asking this question is more so, what is the type of this investment I'm actually going to be making? Now, is this going to be a long-term investment? Is it going to be a swing trade maybe that I'm looking to get in and out of in maybe a 3 to 4 month period, or is it simply just a speculative play that I'm looking to make? Lucky for me, 99% of my investments are going to be long term, which I personally class as 5 years plus. However, I still think asking myself this question every single time is really important to do, because it actually does question why I'm actually getting involved with this company and whether I'm still sticking with my general strategy, which is of course long-term investing. Question number three, has there been any news around that company recently? Now, this is something that I would certainly cover and go over many times whilst doing my fundamental analysis of a stock, but I still, once again, like to ask this question anyways, just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Just some quick tips on how I like to do this. I first like to start off where I think everyone should start off with, and that is the investor relations page for the stock. This is where you'll simply find any brand new announcements or changes and where you'll hear it first. And then from there, what I will likely do is spend some good time on Google, just searching for various news articles around the company, and then maybe if one does catch my eye, what I'll start doing is looking more deeply into it and seeing how it could potentially affect the stock going forward. Question number four. Do I understand the management of the company, and am I aware of any changes that has taken place recently? So, this one is a super important one for a couple of reasons. Number one, I need to understand that the people running the company that I'm about to invest into know what they're doing. This is an obvious one, of course. And then number two, which isn't so obvious, I need to make sure that the current management team has produced positive results for that business, and maybe they are not results of a previous team. For example, you could have had a company produce fantastic results quarter over quarter under one management team, and when you're doing your fundamental analysis, looking at the balance sheet and all of that good stuff, this won't say who was running the company at that time. So it's really important to actually make sure that you actually see how long that management team has been in place, and then from there, of course, look at the results that they have produced for that company and make sure that it hasn't been the results of a previous management team. Question number five, what is my target sell price? Now, this is actually a question that I don't think people ask enough, and it's something that I certainly didn't ask myself when I was first getting started. So what do I mean by target sell price? Well, realistically, we are all in this investing game for one reason only, and that is to make money. And then from there, we also know that we don't either make or lose money in a company until we decide to sell that stock. So having said all that, if we don't have a target sell price, we could actually end up in the position of holding on to that stock for so long to a point where it can get so overvalued that it could actually spend the next few years then on a downtrend where you could have actually potentially cashed out your profits and put your money somewhere else in the stock market, which could have bought you more value. So that's my personal perception of why I have a target sell price. Now, of course, you can still be a long-term investor and still have target sell prices, but I still think it's very important to have that target on each of your investments because, like I said, you could end up just holding that investment to a point where it actually gets overvalued. Question number 6. What are the risks of this investment? So just like the news question, this is certainly a question that I would have definitely covered many times whilst doing my fundamental analysis of the stock. But once again, I think just asking some questions around the risk really gives me the confidence that I have covered all the angles. In terms of the types of risk that I'm actually going to be looking for, a couple of the obvious ones would be, number one, does the industry that the stock that I'm potentially looking to invest into actually have a long-term future? Another one would be, what is the competition like for the company? Are they going to potentially be a threat to my investment in the future as well? Is the business diversified in the way that they generate revenue? That's another question that I would ask around risk. And then finally, has the stock price performed well recently based on momentum rather than actually producing solid results? Now, a typical example of this would obviously be GameStop, where a lot of retail investors piled into that stock, causing that stock to obviously go up quite a lot, and this wasn't based on the actual fundamentals of the business. So this would be another question that I would ask. Question number 7, am I being led by FOMO? Okay, so first up, if you didn't know what FOMO means, then it basically stands for the fear of missing out, and it's something massive that lives with all of us in the world of investing. I personally believe that every single investor at some point has experienced some form of FOMO in their career, and I have certainly been one of them. So having said that, what I like to do is have an honest conversation with myself, and that is, am I investing into this company because I am chasing the dream and buying into the media hype? Or am I investing into this company because I like the business and I believe in its fundamentals and I believe this business can grow in the future? So question number 7, am I being led by FOMO, or have I actually done my solid research into this company and does it fit in with my investing strategy? Question number 8. How does this stock fit within my portfolio? So this is a question that can deem an answer that will vary from investor to investor, all depending on, of course, how you like to diversify your portfolio. But just using myself as an example, one of my main portfolio rules is to have roughly 50% of my portfolio invested into index funds and ETFs. So typically, a question that I would ask myself is, how would my portfolio look after I make this new investment? Would I be over leveraged in terms of my individual stocks? Would I be shy a little bit on my ETFs? How would my portfolio as a whole look at the end of making this investment? Question number 9. If this investment lost 50% of its value tomorrow, would I still be happy to hold it? Okay, so this is the question that I ask myself before I make that final decision on investing into a company. And the likelihood is, if I have done my financial analysis and it has come back positive, and I have asked all the questions mentioned in this video, this answer should be a resounding yes. But realistically speaking, the stock market goes up and down every single day. Well, at least when the market's open, that is. Some days your stock could look like it's the best investment you've ever made, and another day it could get you questioning your life decisions. Either way, asking yourself this question is a great one to finish on, because I really think it does just give you that final piece of confidence after you've done your analysis, and it tells you that you're ready to invest into that company, which then brings me to my final question, which is question number 10. How much am I willing to invest? Am I going to slowly build a position into this company and just drip feed money in maybe on a monthly basis? Is the company at a target price where I simply just want to load the boat and go all in straight away? How much would I have to invest to build this position out within my portfolio to reach those target percentages? And obviously, how much capital do I even have spare to invest in the first place? Either way, this is the final question that I would ask myself before heading on to either Trading 212, Free Trade, or Hargreaves Lansdown to buy into my stock. But anyways, I hope you found this video informative. As I always mention, I am no expert investor or anything like that, so none of this is going to be financial advice, but following these questions alongside my original analysis of companies, I personally feel has been a big reason as to how I have managed to pick up some great companies in the 3 to 4 years that I have been investing, and at the same time also managed to avoid some big losers. Now, if you're still watching this, before you go, I would actually love to hear about some of the questions that you may be asked yourself before making your first investment into a company in the comments section down below. Maybe you're going to start using some of the questions that I do. Either way, let me know. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and you enjoyed this content, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.